Sabia had never believed in ghosts, jinns, or anything supernatural. But after her parents died in a car accident, she was forced to move into an old house left to her by a distant relative. Alone and grief-stricken, she thought the silence of the place would give her peace. She was wrong. The house was old and twisted, filled with creaking wooden floors, cracked mirrors, and a coldness that never left, even in sunlight. The neighbors avoided it. Children would stop their bicycles and stare at it, whispering tales of spirits and cursed walls. But Sabia ignored them. She had no other place to go. On her very first night, the mirrors in the house began to behave strangely. Though most were cracked, she often saw movement in them, blurry figures that flickered and vanished. At first, she blamed her tired mind. But when she heard giggles, childish, high-pitched and echoing, coming from nowhere, she froze. There was no one else in the house. As days passed, things got worse. Her belongings were misplaced, her food turned bitter, books fell off shelves. One morning, she woke up to find her bed sheets torn into pieces. The mirror showed her shadows moving behind her, but whenever she turned around, there was nothing. Then came the voices. At night, as she tried to sleep, 3 voices whispered in her ears. "Let's play. Do you miss your parents? You're all alone, just like us." They laughed, mocked her, followed her from room to room. And then one evening, she saw them, not with her eyes, but in the mirror. 3 jinns. One was short and hunched, with burning red eyes and twisted limbs. The second was tall and thin, crawling upside down along the ceiling like a spider. The third looked like a faceless child, its head slightly tilted, its presence horrifyingly still. They were playful at first, mischievous, moving things, hiding keys. But the games became cruel. They would slam doors when she tried to leave, whisper threats in her ear, or laugh when she cried. Her phone would show her distorted images of her own face, eyes missing, blood dripping, her smile twisted unnaturally. She tried to pray, to resist, but the jinns were too strong. They knew her pain. They fed on her loneliness. One night, she woke up in the middle of the forest, barefoot, her hands covered in mud. She had no idea how she got there. The jinns laughed in her ears. "You sleepwalk so beautifully." Sabia realized this wasn't haunting. It was possession, slow and steady. They weren't just living in the house. They were crawling into her soul. But she was not weak. In the basement, behind a wall of rotten wood, she found an old trunk. Inside was a diary, leather-bound and filled with ancient writings. It belonged to a magician who once lived in the house. He had captured these jinns using a blood-binding ritual, but they killed him before he could complete the seal. She read the diary over and over, memorized every chant, marked every symbol. She would not let these creatures win. Under a full moon, Sabia stood in the center of her room, surrounded by chalk circles and salt lines. Her finger bled onto the floor as she spoke the forbidden verses. The house trembled, the air thickened, the mirrors cracked again, but this time the shadows inside them screamed. The jinns appeared furious, their faces no longer playful, but monstrous. "You want to send us away? You were our favorite toy. We'll take your soul instead." But Sabia did not flinch. With every word she spoke, the walls pulsed. The jinns were pulled into the mirrors one by one, clawing and shrieking as they vanished into the glass. The final chant broke the silence, and the mirrors shattered into dust. The house fell silent. She collapsed. When she awoke, the sun was shining through the window. No voices, no laughter. The mirrors were gone. She left that house forever, carrying only the magician's diary and one small mirror, the only one that hadn't cracked. Sometimes, at night, she looks into it and sees 3 shadows, still watching, still waiting, because mischief never really dies.